one thing that every couple out there that could hear this could resonate with, and that is that loving the same person day in and day out gets boring, right? No, I don't believe it does.
Right.
But like,
in their world.
It's the same fucking thing. I was watching, we just went to this concert. Where we go?
Chris Stapleton.
Merle Haggard or whatever.
Chris Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton. And there was this drunk lady remember we were right at the front there, and there's this drunk lady that was talking to the people behind us holding her beer. And she was talking about how her husband, he's lucky he gets to still kind of live on the couch, right? I'm like, what the fuck? The guy probably goes to work every day to come home and provide for you, and you're less like, you could care less about him. And maybe she was joking or whatever, but I think that's what happens in many homes. You take for granted the person that you sleep next to. You take for granted the person that makes your eggs and chicken. You take for granted the person that makes you the coffee in the morning. You take for granted the person that picks up the kids because you're at work doing the things you need to do. Or and as a woman, vice versa, right? You take for granted that the dude, especially like think about these construction workers, these men out there that are actually running the infrastructure of the company or the country, right? These guys that get up, I know what I do is cool, but there's guys out there that get up and they keep the roads safe. They're down in Florida right now, protecting and helping save lives down there through the hurricane. They're working way up high on wires to make sure that we have internet. And they're like, they go out every day and they do these fucking jobs. And sometimes the wife doesn't really appreciate that, or they take it for granted. And it's really what at the core is you start taking for granted that the love that you created, the life that you wanted, because you have the same person over and over. And it's human nature. If I could give the people out there why I wanted to like truly hone in on this, how to keep it not boring, is figure out how you can love the other person, one person, many different ways. That's how I don't get bored. My biggest struggle was, because I shouldn't say my biggest struggle, but watching how I didn't value women before you, right? Mm-hmm. And then there were objects, or maybe not objects, that sounds like a real narcissist, but like I didn't care. I had no emotion. I didn't really care if I had a girlfriend or not. I just didn't give a fuck about them or whatever. And when I realized that, and part of that was because I just didn't want to be with one person.
Right.
And then when I realized that one person is going to love me back entirely if I love her the way she needs to be loved, also knowing that, like, this is a commitment for the rest of your life, right? Like, this is not, divorce is, I'm not, it's not on the books for me. There's only two ways, right? Cheat or lie.
Yep.
Right? That's it. You do that, then obviously that changes the table. That changes it. I do that changes it. When I make a commitment, or these men out there make a commitment and they're like, fuck, I'm getting bored, they don't realize they made a fucking commitment. Like, they truly didn't make a commitment to themselves. It sounded good till death do us part. It sounded good to tell the people around you love this girl, but then when it comes time to show up, you don't do it. And then you might not cheat, but I think even being worse than cheating is being in a loveless relationship.